I am but a mere shadow in the entertainment industry, having adhered steadfastly to the green tea persona meticulously crafted for me by my agency since signing. Alas, after 8 years of striving, I return still as a newcomer. In a twist of fate, a private conversation with my close friend was inadvertently leaked. Our exchanges have always been characterized by their coarse humor, laden with innuendos and risque remarks. To my astonishment, this mortifying incident has unexpectedly breathed new life into my languishing career. As for idle male B, what a fool! Who in their right mind would wish to stir up a romance with him? With his overly delicate demeanor, he pales in comparison to my own masculine charm. The allure of Tan C's lips appears irresistibly inviting. Truly, I am in awe of the top-tier C, who has managed to turn lip-syncing into an art form. Here I am, the nightingale of the domestic entertainment scene, obliged to support his charade of singing. Tan C's lips are indeed delightfully soft to kiss. It turns out that when one is popular, laughter comes easily. Having a following is a blessing indeed. Lines can be forgotten, and acting relies solely on the exchange of glances. With one utterance, the entire set can hear the rising star, counting down. What a troublesome habit he has developed. After toiling all night to memorize my lines, they are discarded at a whim. What madness! To this day, the taste of Tan C's lips lingers in my memory. The exposure of our chat sent shockwaves through the internet, catapulting us to the #1 trending topic in a mere 10 minutes. Just how soft are Tan C's lips? What do they taste like? And, trending second, disaster. Westlake Longjing has transformed into spicy hot pot. 1. Green tea is the persona meticulously crafted for me by the company, and I have successfully upheld it. Every time I stand before the camera, I inevitably face criticism. Some media outlets have even remarked, if 2cc were to be tossed into Westlake, the entire nation could savor the exquisite Westlake Longing tea. On yet another occasion, as I found myself trending on social media due to my green tea remarks, I had just finished recording for a variety show. In the lounge, I eagerly pulled out my phone to vent to my best friend, completely oblivious to the camera behind me diligently capturing every moment. Consequently, the entirety of my conversation with her was broadcasted live. My alternate Weibo account was also inadvertently exposed, and within mere minutes, it amassed millions of views. Upon noticing my agent's message, I turned sharply to see the camera's green light illuminating the room. With a clatter, my phone fell to the ground. And a singular thought consumed my mind: this is disastrous. The content of my alternate Weibo account rivaled Lin Dayu's lament over the willow tree, devoid of any connection to green tea, and far more scandalous than the downfall of Tan C. It was characterized by a stark contrast and a profound inconsistency. Once I regained my composure, I hastily deleted the posts, tears streaming down my face as I mourned the impending demise of my acting career. Yet, the speed at which modern netizens captured screenshots surpassed even 5G. Before I could finish deleting, those explosive comments had already spread across the internet. Just as I was drowning in despair over my bleak future, my agent issued an ultimatum. 2cc. It's one thing for you to ruin yourself, but don't drag Tan C down with you. The company is terminating your contract. A sense of finality enveloped me. I quickly opened the image she sent. A real-time screenshot of Weibo's trending topics. At the top, a stark drop in popularity was evident, with a bold explosive following the entry for Tan C. My hand trembled, causing my phone to crash to the ground once more. My face turned ashen. It was over. My long-held secret crush on the esteemed actor Tan C could no longer be concealed. Previously, I had stumbled upon a stroke of luck, landing the role of the White Moonlight in Tan C's drama, albeit with limited screen time, yet featuring several intimate scenes. Initially, Tan C and Lin Sairu became a popular couple due to this drama, while my tarnished reputation as a little green tea was conveniently overlooked. During filming, there were moments when I became so engrossed that I almost lost control. The secret excitement within me, coupled with an overwhelming flood of forbidden thoughts, could only be expressed in whispers to my best friend through my alternate Weibo account. Who would have thought that my offhand remark on set, "Brother's performance is so captivating, I couldn't help but get drawn in," would lead to such a scandal? After that green tea comment surfaced, I was mercilessly attacked by CP fans and the production team. Bowing to pressure continually reduced my already scant screen time. While I tried to ignore the online vitriol after working with Tan C, I found myself unable to forget his lips, which is why I repeatedly reminisced on my alternate account. After all, they were simply irresistible. 2. Little did I anticipate that my private lewdness would be laid bare under the glaring sunlight. It was akin to defecating in public. The comments beneath the trending topic swiftly escalated, with 9 out of 10 criticizing me, while the remaining 1 seemed to revel in the chaos. Has 2cc never seen a man? Can a mere kiss during filming elicit such prolonged fantasies? While this sentiment rang true, one could hardly blame me, after all. A man like Tansy could easily inspire memories that linger for a lifetime. What kind of character is Tu Jiaojiao? Does she intend to fantasize about every male co-star? Even as a casual fan, I found her behavior repulsive, feeling as though Tansy had been sullied by association. I wonder how Tansy feels about this now? He'll probably carry some psychological scars into future shoots. That poor baby must be utterly disgusted by Tu Jiaojiao, that duplicitous woman. As I read through the derision, I initially brushed it off, but when I encountered a particular comment, I felt a lump form in my throat. Indeed, Tansy must know about my alternate account's musings. And surely he would come to despise me. Just then, my phone rang, and the caller was none other than Tansy. I hastily covered my phone, tossing it away. Half in jest, for I could not bear to face him. In an effort to protect Tansy's image from my ruin, the company and my agent aggressively stifled the controversy. Meanwhile, I was confined to a hotel by a young assistant, strictly ordered not to leave until the situation was resolved. My agent released an urgent statement via my main Weibo account, claiming the company had no knowledge of my alternate account. As for my conversation with my best friend, it effectively nailed me to the cross of inconsistency. Thanks to timely public relations efforts, the incident's intensity gradually subsided within the golden 48 hours. The agency's maneuvering meant that neither they nor Tansy suffered any significant loss, while I, already infamous, faced even harsher criticism. After spending several days in the hotel, juggling the impending contract termination and the completion of existing commitments, I remained preoccupied with thoughts of Tansy's perception of me, the emotional tug-of-war leaving me utterly drained. After hiding away for a week, I finally ventured out early one morning for a scheduled engagement. My phone displayed dozens of missed calls from Tansy and countless unread messages, which I dared not examine. I wished to retreat into my shell like a snail, postponing the inevitable confrontation for as long as possible. However, today's recording was meant to promote the drama I had collaborated on with Tansy. Even if I was terrified of facing him, I had to meet him. After all, the contract was signed, and not attending would lead to exorbitant penalties. But to my astonishment, a lavish luxury vehicle awaited me in the hotel parking lot. "Sister, this car isn't taking me to my doom, is it?" I inquired hesitantly, pointing at the vehicle. My agent rolled her eyes, ignoring my concern as she pushed me toward the car. I clung to a nearby pillar, reluctant to board. Having just made such a colossal mistake the previous week and still negotiating my contract termination, it felt utterly implausible that I would be allowed such luxury. Something about this situation felt profoundly off. Dark thoughts raced through my mind, speculating whether the company intended to send me off to appease some big shot, squeezing out my last bit of value before the contract was dissolved. "Sister, after all these years, we may lack familial ties, but surely we share some bond. You cannot stand by and watch me ruin my future." 2cc, shut your mouth. If you had been half as competent on set as you are now, you would have been a sensation long ago. Enough chatter, we're running late. Get in the car. My inherently suspicious nature flared up, and sensing something was amiss, I whimpered, "What if we just ride bicycles instead?" I gazed at my agent with tear-filled eyes, fearful and desperate. Before she could scold me further, the car door slowly opened. I was greeted by Tansy's gentle smile, and I immediately fell silent. As I instinctively glanced at his lips before looking down, I noted their natural rosy hue, indicating he was in splendid spirits. "Senior, please get in. This is my car." Tansy extended his hand toward me. My heart raced. I hardly dared to take it. 3. Despite the air conditioning in the car being set low, I felt an overwhelming warmth enveloping me. "Senior, there's no need for such formality. Just call me brother as you used to." Tansy's soothing voice eased my anxious heart. He was my mother's student, her pride and joy. Ever since entering school, he had been a figure of prominence. Upon returning from abroad in my first year of high school, I instantly developed a crush on this charming senior during our first encounter. My mother was his homeroom teacher for 3 years and also his calligraphy instructor. Occasionally, he would come to our home for tutoring sessions, where my mother would have him stay for dinner. However, communication between us was scarce. He was quite aloof back then, and my hidden feelings rendered me too nervous to initiate conversation. By nature, I was not one to remain silent, yet my mother had playfully teased him in my presence, saying, "Only as contained this little firecracker. After spending years abroad with her father, her temper has only intensified." My dearest mother remains blissfully unaware that her 16-year-old daughter has developed a budding infatuation for your prized pupil. He is 2 years my senior, and during our school days, I affectionately referred to him as brother. However, after the college entrance examination, he ventured to another city for university, subsequently entering the entertainment industry to pursue a career in film, resulting in us not having crossed paths for several years. Consequently, our relationship has grown increasingly distant. Yet, his bond with my mother remains as strong as ever. She often recounts how, whenever he has the time, he makes a point to visit her. Regrettably, every occasion coincides with either my school commitments or work obligations. Brother, I apologize for inadvertently drawing you into this predicament. Tansy gazed at me intently, his confusion palpable. Since his school days, he has suffered from mild myopia, rendering him unable to wear contact lenses due to his sensitive eyes. Upon entering the entertainment sphere, his agency, in an effort to maintain his public image, forbade him from wearing glasses in public settings. Thus, when conversing with others, he instinctively leans closer or stares directly into their eyes, his expression focused and affectionate. Yet, as one prominent female star within the industry aptly stated, when a male celebrity gazes at you with such intensity, it can evoke a sense of devotion even towards a dog. I swallowed hard, attempting to regain my fraying composure. I must not allow my emotions to run wild. Regarding Weibo, that incident, I have been attempting to reach you since that fateful night. Why did you not answer my calls? Not even a response to my messages. He smiled faintly, raising his phone in a gesture of indication. You may find it hard to believe, but my phone simply malfunctioned. His expression revealed his skepticism. Just as he was about to continue, I suddenly lurched forward, losing my balance. Tensei reacted swiftly, wrapping his arms around my waist to steady me. Today, I wore a waist-bearing dress. His palm was warm against my skin, devoid of any fabric barrier. Startled, I quickly adjusted myself, eager to escape his grasp. Are you hurt? He inquired. I quickly shook my head, signaling that I was fine, though I could feel my cheeks flushing with heat. Fortunately, in an effort to disguise my exhausted complexion, I had applied a notably pale foundation today, making it difficult to discern my embarrassment. Otherwise, the situation would have been even more awkward. The driver glanced back, his expression conflicted. Shortly thereafter, the agent in the passenger seat also turned, smiling as he inquired, Lin Seo is flagging down the car. She wishes to join us. This promotional event is of the highest caliber, with all the key creative members in attendance. In reality, we were less than 10 minutes away from the studio, and Lin Seo was already in her own vehicle. However, in a bid to cultivate a romantic narrative with Tan Si, she purposely chose to disembark at this location and even updated her schedule for her fans, resulting in a throng of supporters gathered around. Prior to our departure, I had expressly forbidden such antics. Tansy has always been known for his emotional steadiness within the industry, yet now he was visibly agitated and displeased. However, given Lin Seo's temperament, the agent, clearly torn, hesitated before advising. Moreover, this is merely a tactic to promote the show. Once the promotional period concludes, she will not have another opportunity to approach him. While persuading, the agent opened the car door. Lin Seo's delicate visage appeared, only for her expression to sour upon noticing me seated inside. What are you doing here? As she entered the vehicle, she deliberately angled her body to obscure me from the cameras outside, unaware that Tan Si's displeased expression was also captured. Having boarded first, I was relegated to the back seat, resulting in a palpable tension within the car. Upon her arrival, Lin Seo wasted no time in engaging Tan Si in conversation, completely ignoring me. I'm so nervous today. It's been ages since I've encountered such a grand spectacle. Tan Si, his expression impassive, turned to gaze out the window. It's not your first time on a variety show. If anyone should be nervous, it should be Shishi. His use of my name caught everyone off guard, and Lin Seo quickly regained her composure, casting a glance my way. True, especially after having lost face so dramatically. It's only natural to feel anxious before appearing on an S-level program. Be cautious. Netizens might flood the comments to criticize you. What do you mean by that, sister? Are you reveling in my misfortune? I feigned innocence, adhering to the persona crafted by the company over the years. One that had conditioned me to act like a green tea villain in front of outsiders. Upon hearing my retort, the driver nearly lost control of the steering wheel from laughter, swerving us dangerously close to a greenbelt. Even the usually serious agent could not suppress a chuckle. Shishi. What are you implying? Who are you trying to disgust? Lin Sio's face flushed with anger, clearly indicating that her makeup was less adept at concealing her emotions than mine. Tensi, don't you find this woman insufferably pretentious? He shrugged nonchalantly. Shishi is right. What are you so gleeful about? Are you eagerly anticipating her downfall? Lin Sio, unwilling to concede, fell silent, her expression betraying her growing embarrassment. Naughty. Once the oblivious individuals finally quieted down, Tansi affectionately ruffled my hair. I could feel my face burning with embarrassment. Such a gesture was incredibly endearing. Fortunately, we had arrived at our destination, allowing the peculiar atmosphere within the vehicle to dissipate. For this program, the agent had previously coordinated with the production team to ensure that the Weibo incident would not be mentioned during the broadcast. Yet, the way everyone gazed at me was undeniably peculiar. However, in the entertainment industry, maintaining a facade is an essential skill. Although I could feel the scrutiny, at least no one would render me uncomfortable. According to the pre-show procedure, Tansi and Lin Sio were scheduled to engage in numerous intimate interactions. However, unexpectedly, when the recording commenced, he caught everyone off guard by decisively choosing me as his partner during the partner selection segment. The audience gasped in shock while voices below the stage criticized me incessantly. What was intended to be a sweet interaction between the male and female leads had transformed into a convoluted narrative of an ex-lover entangled with the male protagonist, filled with lingering sentiments. To everyone's astonishment, Tansi and I exhibited an exceptional level of synergy, answering questions swiftly and accurately during the games. Seizing a moment of respite during the game, he leaned in close and whispered, "You've become much smarter since our school days." My heart raced, and instinctively, I turned to look at him, inadvertently brushing against his nose, our eyes locking. The proximity was overwhelming. I quickly stepped back, and I noticed his ears turning crimson. Lin Sio, having been overlooked by the male lead, was forced to partner with the second male lead. Throughout the recording, she wore a sullen expression, replete with visible frustration, and failed to answer a single question. After the game concluded, she stood on stage, tears streaming down her face in distress. The host, taken aback by the unexpected turn of events, was momentarily at a loss for words. The director had no choice but to usher us minor actors off stage, reserving the remaining time and attention for the principal characters. As I followed the others off stage, I unexpectedly encountered the top-tier celebrity C, who was performing in the adjacent studio. Shishi, tell me, who is the male singer you were disparaging with your friend? It can't possibly be me, right? He leaned in, teasing me. My reputation had already been tarnished due to the small account incident, and with the numerous scandals involving my private conversations surfacing, I was reluctant to delve further into this topic. Yet, he persisted, "Honestly, your poor reputation is well-deserved. You've got a terrible mouth, daring to speak ill behind others' backs." His incessant prattling grew increasingly unpleasant, and his delight at my silence only fueled my irritation. "Yes, the top-tier singer I criticized is you. You constantly boast about being a graduate of an internationally renowned music academy, a pioneer of pop music with a voice graced by angels. The most ridiculous part is that your fans actually believe it, even audaciously proclaiming you as the luminary of the Chinese music scene. With such an inflated ego, how can you still have the audacity to claim you never lip-sync?" On stage, I wished to amplify my voice to the fullest, longing to activate the auto-tune to a staggering billion volts. Was Pikachu's 100,000 volts insufficient for your needs? After signing the contract, my manager repeatedly cautioned me to maintain a positive public image and to never reveal my true nature. Yet, at this moment, I felt an overwhelming desire to throw caution to the wind. Who is this fool trying to put on airs before me? If I didn't show you what a firecracker truly is, you might genuinely believe I was easy to bully. Even with the electronic music cranked up to the max, your off-key singing was still audible. How could you, with such a simpering demeanor, shamelessly market yourself as a talented individual? I was clearly directing my scorn at you. What are you going to do about it? After unleashing my tirade, the atmosphere around us solidified. The entire backstage fell silent as if frozen. It was only then that we realized our microphones had not been turned off, meaning our entire exchange had been broadcast live to both recording venues. In other words, I was utterly doomed. My entertainment career was at its end. Even the top hosts from both shows were at a loss for how to salvage the situation. The man I had berated stood there with tears welling in his eyes, unaccustomed to being scolded after years of being pampered in the industry. "Why are you so fierce?" he whimpered. When the recording concluded, the day had already been tumultuous, as I had overshadowed Lin Seo with Tan Si, and now this incident had turned the whole experience into chaos. Lin Seo stormed off without insisting on a ride with Tan Si. As for me, fearing I might be ambushed by the fans of the top star, I intended to slip away through the back door. But lo and behold, that luxurious van reappeared before me. The window rolled down, revealing Tan Si, who waved at me with a smile. A wave of despair washed over me as I cautiously surveyed the curious gazes around me before hurriedly climbing into the vehicle. Once I settled in, the driver swiftly accelerated away. "Don't worry, the online uproar will soon pass. The entertainment industry is full of daily dramas, and this is merely a small blip," Tan Si attempted to reassure me, noting my despondency. Since his high school graduation, our meetings had been infrequent. He had only come to celebrate my acceptance into university with a meal, and we hadn't seen each other again for several years. "Your alter ego truly reflects your personality. The way you cursed today was quite genuine," he remarked, leaving me astonished that he recognized my online persona as me. Don't misunderstand. I've always regarded you as an older brother, idolizing you without any inappropriate intentions," I stammered, anxious that Tan Si might think ill of me. "So, you don't genuinely enjoy kissing me?" he asked, narrowing his eyes and leaning closer. I was so flustered I forgot to breathe. How could he be so blunt? Tan Si's expression darkened, resembling a predator ready to pounce. "I'm merely being impulsive. I didn't mean those words. You are the youngest and most promising actor in the industry. How could I dare?" I said, desperately apologizing. Seeing his serious demeanor, I felt as if I should commit seppuku in apology. "I truly regret involving you in this mess. Any careless words of mine that caused you trouble? I promise to be more cautious in the future and will never harbor inappropriate thoughts toward you." I continued to plead, my face contorted with anxiety. Yet my fervent apologies only seemed to worsen his mood. He frowned, appearing as if he were in pain, and interrupted me, urging me to be silent. Noticing he seemed unwell, I panicked, fearing I had induced a heart attack from my words. The more I thought about it, the more sorrowful I became. Worried he would detest me and that we might never meet again, all while chastising myself for my indiscretion. Seeing me on the verge of tears, Tan Si couldn't help but chuckle. "I haven't scolded you. Why do you look like you're about to cry? Who did you intend to confess to on the day of your college entrance exams? Do I know them?" he inquired, shifting the topic abruptly, leaving me somewhat dazed. "You probably know them," I replied, glancing at his finely crafted features, bitterly admitting, "but it didn't work out." After contemplating for a while, he asked, "Do you still like him?" "Very much. I've always liked him," I confessed, oblivious to the conflict on Tan Si's face as he seemed poised to ask more. But the phone rang, prompting my manager to hurry him to the airport. He needed to return to the film set to complete the remaining scenes of the movie he was currently filming. "If you're not working in the next few days, return home for a while. Your teacher misses you. Once I finish this film, I'll come back to see you," he said gently as we exited the hotel parking lot, resembling a husband preparing for a long trip, comforting his wife. By the time I regained my senses, the luxury van had already driven away, leaving me blushing and flustered as I returned to my room. After a few days in the hotel, my mind kept replaying Tan Si's words at our parting, caught up in the turmoil of whether he might have feelings for me. The online community, however, remained indifferent to my musings. During my time lost in fantasies, I had inadvertently ignited a storm by vehemently criticizing the top-tier star C for lip-syncing, with videos and audio clips circulating widely. Coupled with my innocent green tea visage uttering the most venomous remarks, I inadvertently pushed the leading star to tears. In retrospect, this truly resembled a scene of bullying in the entertainment industry, leaving no room for redemption. Darkness enveloped me as I contemplated escaping abroad to evade the wrath of fervent fans. Trembling, I scrolled through the comments, surprised to find that the majority were not attacking me. In fact, the conversation seemed rather jovial. Is that you, Susie? Does no one else find it exhilarating to hear her curse? Her points are quite valid. Starcy has always relied on his mindless fans for validation and lacks true talent. This isn't the first time he faced accusations of lip-syncing. The innocent little green tea, when she opens her mouth to curse, it's as if she's been poisoned. It's all about that contrast, isn't it? I can't stop laughing. To be honest, that guy has terrible public appeal. His singing is atrocious, and he acts so pretentious. If he provoked her, he deserves the backlash. That internationally renowned music academy was merely for show. It had some merit back in the day, but now its reputation is tarnished. Those who understand know the truth. Just like some domestic products from years ago, they go abroad to be marketed, and upon returning, they sell like hotcakes. Susie's criticisms are spot on. I couldn't believe my eyes. Had justice finally been served in my favor? I continued scrolling through the comments, smiling widely. To be honest, Susie shouldn't have adopted the green tea persona. Despite her appearance, her true personality is quite likable. Seeing that my fanbase was gaining traction and public opinion was gradually shifting, I realized why my manager hadn't called to reprimand me during my stay at the hotel. She was likely waiting for the dust to settle and gauging the online sentiment. When I signed the contract with the agency, I made it abundantly clear that I had a short temper and couldn't tolerate provocation. My manager informed me that many in the industry had similar dispositions, but in front of the camera, one must put on a facade. If executed well, it would pose no issue. Thus, she crafted a green tea persona for me based on my appearance, steering me towards a path of notoriety to snatch resources before ultimately reversing public opinion. It was precisely because I had been suppressing my true self for so long on camera that I resorted to venting my frustrations through my alter ego. Now, the entertainment industry is indeed a different place, allowing artists to speak their minds. Immersed in the euphoria of my recently reversed public image while at the hotel, I hardly had time to revel in my joy before the winds of fate shifted once more. The promotional variety show for the drama I had recorded previously aired, and in a moment of careless enthusiasm, Lynn Cyru accidentally liked a post discussing the dilemma of having a green tea next to her boyfriend, which quickly surged to the top of trending topics. As a consequence of the prior upturn in my public perception, I plummeted back to the depths of disdain, facing even harsher criticism than before. Furthermore, a photograph circulated across the internet, depicting me seated in a van, exuding an aura of purity and innocence, yet strongly resembling a homewrecker. Lynn Cyru stood outside the car door, gazing at me with a mix of surprise and sorrow, while the indistinct figure inside, upon closer inspection, was none other than Tansy. This single photograph, maliciously distorted by online commentators, thrust my previously improving reputation into a new abyss, firmly cementing my label as a homewrecker. Lynn Cyru, witnessing the event escalate, posted a clarification on Weibo, stating that it was merely a slip of the finger, and she had inadvertently liked the post without noticing the title. Oh, poor Lynn Cyru. How tragic for the leading lady of the drama to not even secure a central position. My heart aches for the girl. She can only vent her frustrations in such an indirect manner. 2cc resorts to insults for publicity, lacking any decorum. Switching between the green tea and straightforward personas, she's not afraid of a backlash. Did Tansy and Lynn Cyru have a thing? The male idol hasn't said anything yet. Why are Lynn Cyru's fans making such a commotion? Upstairs, what else could it be? It all started with a picture, with content reliant on fabrication. That girl is cunning. She merely liked a post and said nothing, leaving everything to her fans' wild imaginations. Even if the situation backfires, she can always blame it on her fans, portraying herself as an innocent white lotus. Upon seeing this, I realized that this person was astute and deserved my support, so I hastily liked the post. Everything you're saying is mere speculation. Even if Tansy and Lynn Cyru are not involved during the drama's airing, the leads are expected to engage in CP marketing. 2cc, a faded star, cannot possibly believe that playing Tansy's love interest in the drama would grant her a seat at the table in real life. 2cc. The Green TBTCH should exit the entertainment industry. 2cc's tea-sipping remarks were already nauseating. Now she's trying to forcefully latch onto Tansy? Must she be so disgraceful? With someone as hypocritical as 2cc, even if offered to the male idol, he wouldn't want her. Did you not notice how her proximity to Tansy seemed fraught with discomfort? A relentless stream of trending topics emerged, none bearing kind words, with me as the central figure. The most glaring one read, 2cc's character is in ruins. She is urged to exit the entertainment industry. Enraged, I angrily shoved my phone into the microwave, wishing to erase the sight of those slandering remarks. The flames of public opinion blazed higher, swiftly evolving into a nationwide online harassment campaign. The company, unable to contain the situation, had completely abandoned me. Early the next morning, my manager barged into my room. Termination of contract. How ruthless. I stared blankly at the manager, my hair a disheveled mess. You've never earned the company any money since signing. Even though I'm quite fond of you, I cannot contest the company's decision. Since the onset of the online harassment the previous day, I had not checked the news. Now, the internet was rife with accusations against Tansy's manager for incompetence and the company for negligence. Most people believed I was a stalker, having pursued Tansy since before entering the industry, harboring ulterior motives. 2cc the stalker. How can such a dark-hearted woman remain by Tansy's side? The company's actions are disheartening. Flipping tables, causing trouble during the drama's promotion. 2cc insists on dragging Tansy down with her. This behavior has severely impacted Tansy's work. There's a strong demand for the company to expel that green tea BTCH stalker from the industry. I gazed at the screen handed to me by my manager. Had I truly been labeled a stalker overnight? Was it really that severe? I swallowed hard, glancing nervously at my manager. After all, I had merely sat in Tansy's van, which wasn't even a private vehicle. Lin Siru had invested heavily, hiring a legion of online trolls to manipulate the narrative and incite negative sentiment among fans, while the top-tier influencers you insulted. CC. The company is at its wit's end. Let us part on good terms, or Tansy will be implicated. My manager's face was etched with weariness, her eyes bloodshot from sleeplessness. It was evident that she had been overwhelmed by this matter. Looking at the termination documents before me, they had previously demanded a penalty for breach of contract, yet now they sought nothing more than my swift signature to expedite my departure, seeking a peaceful resolution. Once I signed, the losses from this incident could be minimized, allowing me to act without restraint. However, it also meant that my future interactions with Tansy would be significantly reduced. I solemnly inscribed my name, and suddenly, a notification from Weibo popped up. My manager carefully stored the agreement, then picked up her phone to check. This was the first time I had witnessed the phrase pupil earthquake materialize before my eyes. My heavens, what madness has befallen you? Tansy's Weibo had always been dedicated to business and drama promotions, never sharing personal updates. And he typically managed it himself, with the company exerting little control over his account. To my astonishment, he had just posted a candid photo of us from high school, even pinning it to his homepage. In the photo, the two of us appeared youthful and innocent. I wore a bright smile, tinged with shyness, while he affectionately draped an arm around my shoulders, a hint of joy gracing his lips. 2cc and I are childhood friends. She is not a stalker. In his clarification, he stated, I do not have a girlfriend. I am currently striving to pursue someone. Aside from our promotional activities, I have no private contact with Ms. Lin Siru, and I kindly ask that she refrain from spreading misleading messages. Furthermore, he added, had it not been for CC's involvement, I would never have accepted the idol drama in collaboration with Lin Siru. I urge fans to pursue their idols rationally. What? My manager's eyes widened in disbelief, and I instinctively pinched her, fearing she might faint from shock. Underneath that Weibo post, a cacophony of despair ensued, with fans lamenting their inability to cope. No, please. Not the male idol. Lin Siru is not ideal, but this green tea isn't much better. The film emperor and a renowned green tea from the entertainment industry are childhood friends? What a nightmare. Could it be that those so-called stalker photos unearthed earlier were merely your everyday snapshots? The person I adore most is with the female star I despise most? Tansy swiftly responded beneath the comments. We are not together yet. I am still trying. Wait, when have you been trying? How come the involved parties are unaware? I looked up to find my manager gazing at me with a mixture of longing and confusion. Tansy likes you? How did I not know? Has he even charmed your mother? My heart skipped a beat. Perhaps, like you, I only just found out? The online discourse had descended into chaos. Sister, should we take a sip while it's still hot? I had harbored feelings for Tansy for an eternity. After the college entrance examination, I mustered the courage to confess my feelings to him. Yet, before I could utter a word, he informed me, "Cece, I'm off to film a movie." I merely stared at him, dazed. This was a path entirely unrelated to my future plans. They claimed we were a perfect match, and I too longed to experience a different life. I quietly buried the love letter deeper in my pocket, pretending to be nonchalant as I declared, "I'm going to confess to the boy I've liked for a long time." Then I fled in haste. Before him, I had always felt inferior. The slightest hint of impossibility would send me retreating. As I anticipated, he debuted with a work that soared to Cannes, earning him an International Best Actor award. With his exquisitely crafted Eastern features, he swiftly became the epitome of desire for women worldwide, his path illuminated. Originally, he was the boy next door, within arm's reach, who transformed into an international star. By the time I graduated from university, he had already been famous for 4 years, during which he had also completed his studies and even gained admission to graduate school. Viewed from any angle, he was the shining genius in the eyes of the world. My mother harbors concerns that I may struggle to secure employment post-graduation, compelling her to suggest I pursue a teaching position. Yet, I harbor a lingering sense of discontent within me. Upon learning that Tansy Company was conducting auditions for actors, I impulsively decided to attend. With my decent appearance and impressive academic credentials, despite lacking formal training, I considered enrolling in an acting workshop to hone my skills. I successfully signed with Tansy. And upon joining the same agency, I reassured myself that he was no longer an unreachable star in the distant sky. However, after debuting, I found myself struggling. No matter how diligently the company marketed me, and despite the carefully crafted plan to cultivate a controversial image, years of effort yielded naught but obscurity. My fame remained elusive. In this collaboration, my co-star Lin Seo made me appear even more like a fool. I never anticipated that my name would be associated with Tansy online, especially in the context of childhood friends and admirers. Overwhelmed by the unexpected joy, I was stunned. Suddenly, my phone, which I had carelessly placed in the microwave the day before, truly exploded. I was forcibly yanked from my blissful reverie, hearing my agent imploring Tansy with heartfelt persuasion. "This drama is currently airing. Your actions will lead to substantial losses. The company has invested considerably, anticipating significant returns, and in a romantic drama. What is the point of not promoting the couple?" He continued, "You are in a crucial period for capitalizing on your fame. There's no need to sacrifice it all for a nobody." The individual on the other end remained resolute, offering no response to the agent's impassioned plea. Once my agent concluded, he merely inquired, "Lucy C is beside you, isn't she? How do you know?" The situation escalated to such a degree that the company's public relations could no longer suppress it, and naturally, someone had to take the blame. The company had its usual tactics, and given CC's predicament, it was certain they would terminate her contract and push her into the fray to absorb the criticism. Tansy scoffed, fully aware of the company's machinations after all these years. My agent shot me a glare, exasperated, as he thrust the phone into my hands. Why wouldn't he answer my calls again? This time, my phone truly had exploded. Some words, once spoken, are destined to manifest in the future, hence, one's integrity is of paramount importance. He chuckled softly, reassuring me, "Just wait for me to find you. My work is now complete." This film was being shot at a nearby film city, and he had come alone, carrying a signed termination contract and even a new phone for me. I departed with Cece. My agent's forehead twitched in frustration, as if he were on the verge of bursting with anger. "Cece is a nobody. Terminating her contract is simple, but do you understand what you'll face by doing so? You are the company's cornerstone, the source of numerous business deals and film contracts. What will happen to all that if you leave? Not to mention the hefty penalty." My curiosity piqued as I glanced at the contract, where the penalty was listed, $300 million. Tansy had signed with the company upon his debut, earning far more than threefold, yet now he was expected to pay $300 million to terminate a contract with only a year remaining? This was indeed the ruthless tactic of a heartless capitalist. I raised my hand. "I'll pay." "What does that have to do with you? Do you think I'm unaware of how little you've earned since your debut? Your mother is merely a teacher. How could she possibly come up with 300 million? My agent, exasperated, looked at Tansy and me as if we were two whimsical children lost in our fantasies. In truth, my family is quite affluent. My mother, though appearing to be just a teacher, is actually a wealthy heiress who possesses a fortune in the billions. Disliking the deceitful nature of the business world. Every year, professional managers come to our home to report on their work, bringing billions with them. Although my father is abroad, he is also well off, his law firm renowned across America, earning him substantial sums. The couple shares a strong bond. Their divorce was a rash decision, leading to regret. And neither has remarried over the years. As the sole fruit of their love, I maintain a close relationship with my parents. Therefore, 300 million is not a significant sum for me. It's merely my annual pocket money. If only my father were more involved in the entertainment industry, he would know that I have faced years of criticism since my debut. Otherwise, legal letters would have been dispatched across the internet long ago. You needn't worry. I can afford it. Tansy, have you thought this through? Even if the penalty is resolved, what about the future? Are you truly willing to abandon everything you've worked for over the past decade? I gazed at him anxiously. In the early days of his career, Tansy was indeed merely curious, but I knew that after all these years of persistence, he genuinely loved acting. The company had offered me little assistance apart from promoting my on-screen pairing. All resources were self-sourced. Tansy shrugged nonchalantly. My agent resigned, glanced at us, and left with 2 copies of the contract. When we were alone, I suddenly felt awkward again. Tansy retrieved my ruined phone from the microwave, attempting to salvage the SIM card. I offered an embarrassed smile. Brother, thank you for saving me today. Otherwise, I would have been thoroughly scolded. However, now everyone mistakenly believes you are pursuing me. This sacrifice seems a bit excessive. Having played the role of a green tea princess for years, I had learned some skills in that regard, and now I was testing the waters. Tansy chuckled. What I said was all heartfelt. Do you think I only wanted to save you? My face turned crimson at his unexpected directness. I had often fantasized about intimate moments between us, but never in such a favorable atmosphere. After all, it was Tansy who took the initiative. He lifted my chin, compelling me to meet his gaze. Today, I finally have a chance to be your hero. Could you perhaps look at me? Forget about the one you've liked for so long and give me a chance? Since you've liked someone else for years without any outcome, why not switch to someone who likes you? I was taken aback by his sudden confession, my heart feeling as if it had been struck by 1,000 arrows. Lucy, I have actually liked you for a long time. Do you know how elated I was when your alternate account was exposed? That night, I called and texted you repeatedly, but you ignored me just like during our senior year. What? You called me the year I graduated high school? He nodded earnestly, producing an antique flip phone containing all our messages and a long list of unanswered calls. That night, my grandmother said my phone was ringing incessantly until it died. She charged it for me, and then the phone exploded. I wore a woeful expression, nearly on the verge of tears. Tansy sighed softly, speaking gently. That night, I called you to ask if your confession was successful. If not, could you wait for me until I achieved success to come back for you? At this moment, I truly broke down, realizing that due to my insecurities, we had missed out on 9 years together. The person I had always liked was you, and only you. I threw my arms around the astonished Tansy, fervently expressing the love I had buried for so long. I had always felt unworthy of him, never daring to voice my feelings. It was he who had intended to confess back then. The love letter was meant for him, and those words on my alternate account were genuine. He appeared equally bewildered until I calmed down, pointing to his lips. So, do you really want to kiss me? What does it taste like? Remembering those posts on Weibo, I suddenly felt bashful. What was up with him? Why was he always so straightforward? It was incredibly embarrassing. Did he not realize what kind of lip balm he wore? With a demeanor akin to a charming rogue, was he truly trying to entice me? What should I do now? Should I press him down on the bed and kiss him? Hundreds of thoughts raced through my mind in an instant. Yet when I opened my mouth, I found myself at a loss for words. I forgot he held my shoulders, suddenly pulling us closer. His soft, incredibly kissable lips were merely a finger's width away from mine. Why don't you think a little harder? Seizing the opportunity presented, I leaned in for a kiss. It was a calm, gentle peck. I awkwardly nudged him and pulled away. Do you remember? I shook my head in confusion. Yet my thoughts lingered on one detail. He hadn't applied lip balm today. Shall I help you recollect? Before I could respond, Tansy grasped the back of my head, drawing me into a deep kiss. It was as fervent as our first kiss on set, and I felt as though I were floating in paradise, completely intoxicated. In no time, I was utterly disoriented by his kiss. Suddenly, tears streamed down my face. The overwhelming emotions of years spent in unrequited love finally found solace, leaving me excessively exhilarated. Was I too coarse? Tansy immediately halted, flustered as he consoled me. I buried myself in his embrace, holding him tightly. No, I truly like you. I really, really like you. He reciprocated my embrace. I feel the same. That night, he chose not to leave, staying by my side as I meticulously composed a written response to the recent online controversies. This encompassed everything from my debut as a green tea persona to the existence of my alter ego and the subjects of the criticisms. Thankfully, I had the habit of recording during work, so I simply needed to organize the evidence and share it. However, I firmly stated that I would never accept the slander from Lynn Cyru and her fans, who labeled me as the third party. I also declared that if I did not receive an apology from the slanderers within 3 days, I would resort to legal means to protect my rights. After I posted on Weibo, Tansy promptly retweeted my original message, attaching the contract with the company and providing clarification. The clause that mandated him to feign a romantic relationship with the female lead, Lynn Cyru, was highlighted with a red box, bolded and enlarged. This was an addendum to the contract signed after the script, easily overlooked if not scrutinized closely. He expressed that he had no intention of fostering a romantic narrative, having repeatedly resisted the company's demands to no avail, and now sought to terminate the contract. The act of dismantling the CP pairing in idol dramas typically displeases many fans of such pairings. However, Tansy, having debuted for 9 years, had never engaged in any intimate relationships with any woman, and his fans harbored no fondness for this publicity stunt. Thus, the announcement was swiftly embraced by the public. Yet, Lynn Cyru had procured numerous online commentators to perpetuate her narrative, attempting to maintain a semblance of ambiguity with Tansy. But with Tansy himself explicitly rejecting the notion, his fans grew emboldened, embroiled in heated disputes with Lynn Cyru's supporters. It was Lynn Cyru who sought to ride on our emperor's coattails. Had the company not been inept, how could that woman have basked in success for so long? The CP fans are delusional. Our Tansy debuted as an emperor. Why would he need to engage in publicity stunts? Am I the only one who thinks Lucici and Tansy make a splendid pair? After so many years, this little green tea has never considered leveraging her childhood friendship with the emperor for attention. She only dares to fantasize about it in her private accounts. Isn't their subtle relationship rather compelling? Lucici's written account makes it clear, the green tea persona is a construct of the company. She is nothing like that in reality. My reputation saw an overnight transformation, and the online harassment I endured ceased. Lynn Cyru's camp swiftly released a statement, claiming she never intended to create a CP with Tansy, insisting it was all for promotional purposes. However, once that statement was issued, her comments section collapsed entirely. No way, no way, the Emperor exposed you, and you claim it was for promotion? What about the likes you gave to CP fans' comments? And your blatant display of matching outfits with Tansy? Isn't that just one-sided opportunism? And let us not forget you deliberately boarded the Emperor's vehicle in front of fans. That photo implying Lucici is the third party was staged, wasn't it? What kind of promotion necessitates such extremes? Don't forget, the boyfriend's side had the green TS likes. Darling, you've been flaunting your closeness with Tansy at every turn. How dare you claim it was all for publicity? The relationship is Lucici masquerading as a green tea, only to encounter a genuine green tea. They share a childhood bond. While you forced the Emperor into a CP, how audacious. Lynn Cyru never anticipated that her comment section would so easily succumb, unable to clarify. She could only delete her Weibo and feign silence. Only the original company claimed that Tansy's statements regarding the contract were factually incorrect, threatening to sue us for defamation, alleging damage to their corporate image. I immediately called my father. Dad, someone is trying to sue your beloved daughter and son-in-law. As the founder of a prestigious law firm catering to Wall Street elites, my father took action, leading to the original company's utter defeat. This also spared Tansy from a $300 million termination fee. The forced collaboration with Lynn Cyru in the idol drama completely flopped, met with widespread criticism online. After all, The female lead's acting was so subpar it was unbearable, even inferior to her attempts at feigning intimacy off-screen. Once Tansy and I successfully terminated our contract, numerous companies extended olive branches to us. Yet, wary of being exploited by another agency, we chose to establish our own studio, dedicated solely to our artistic endeavors. Tansy now wielded absolute control over the scripts, free from the coercion of capital, and no longer compelled to engage in contrived romantic narratives with female artists to thrive. I no longer had to pretend to be a green tea instead. I aspired to be a vibrant force in the entertainment industry, which ironically led to my rise in popularity. Lucy lived an intriguingly abstract life, and Tansy undoubtedly enjoyed a joyful existence at home, especially with such a delightful companion. The typically low-profile emperor occasionally made an appearance, swiftly replying to a comment. Of course, if you knew who my wife is, you would undoubtedly be envious. Wait, when did this serious man start indulging in playful banter? Fans seized the opportunity to inquire. So, what does the Emperor's lips taste like? Is it really that delightful? Tansy promptly tagged me. Let my wife tell you. I glanced at the man beside me, blushing as I decided. I'll get 1,000 orange-flavored lollipops. Everyone can have a taste. Fans exclaimed. In other words, I'm also one who has savored the Emperor's flavor. The end. Thank you for listening, and we shall meet again in the next story.